Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we got a great show for you tonight. If you guys want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. And tonight, we're going to talk about the big news this week. Errol Spence yanked out of his fight with Manny Pacquiao. Apparently, he had a torn retina. Apparently, he didn't even know about it. That's what's so crazy about it. Apparently, I don't even think he knew about it. They found it in like a pre-fight physical or something like that. So thanks, Doc. Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas is now the new main event. And this is a tricky one, man. It's definitely a winnable fight for Pac, but it also presents some challenges too. This is a tough one for him. This is no cakewalk for him. But first, let's get started with the fights last night on DAZN. Vergil Ortiz versus Kavaluskas. Ortiz wins via 8th round TKO over Kavaluskas. Listen, man, this is a good fight. It was entertaining. Ortiz looked really good out there. I was actually surprised at how good he looked. He got caught in the second round. He looked hurt. He said he wasn't hurt, but I mean, he looked hurt. He did hit the deck, but it was ruled a slip. I don't think it was a knockdown either. But, hey, he persevered, then continued to fight his fight, put a lot of pressure on Kavaluskas, and the body work is what got him, I think. Ultimately finished him in the 8th round. After the fight, he called out Terrence Crawford and any other welterweight on the planet. The Crawford fight, honestly, if he wants to fight Crawford, I mean, that fight should be fairly easy to make if the fight with Sean Porter falls through, which I'm assuming it's going to. Beeb, how did you think that Vergil Ortiz looked last night?
I think Vergil Ortiz looked phenomenal. He looked incredible. I thought that his jab goes without saying. Everyone's saying it, right? His jab was incredible. It was a very hard, powerful jab. He was moving his jab around. He was jabbing downstairs. Every time he hit him with the jab, it seemed as though he pushed him back, stunned him, and hurt him and stopped him in his tracks, Kavaluskas, right? And he was just really putting his shots together. He's such an accurate puncher. Kavaluskas has a very high guard, doesn't give you much to punch at. But the way Vergil Ortiz was able to thread the needle with some of those punches, placed them so perfectly, right through the guard, right up and underneath. Because Kavaluskas, like I said, doesn't give you much, but that little bit that he did give Ortiz was just enough for him to perfectly land those shots. Whereas a lot of other fighters wouldn't have been able to thread the needle so accurately and efficiently the way Ortiz did. So this kid, like I said, is a star in the making. 23 years old, can only get better. I was so impressed. Killer instinct, everything. The way he when he had Kavaluskas hurt, jumped right on him, knocked him down a couple times. He did not let the guy breathe. So that, and he showed a lot of experience because he was mixing the shots up, going downstairs. He didn't get wild, go ahead hunting. So this guy is mature beyond his boxing years of experience. Very mature, very poised fighter. I can't say enough about how impressed I was last night.
Let me ask you a question, Beeb. When he knocked him down, was that a jab or was that like a straight left hand? Because he looked like he was walking into it. It was
a variation of a jab.
I think it was a shotgun jab.
It was like a hook type thing. The same thing that Terrence Crawford did to Kell Brook when he knocked him down.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you throw the jab and you kind of just turn it, torque it a little bit. So the punch started out as a jab. And then he just kind of turned it a little bit, and it was like a hybrid type, half jab, half hook type punch. Yeah.
Because I looked at it and I was like, I looked at it and they called it a jab, and it didn't look it from one angle, but then I looked at the other angle, and it's almost like his feet were stepping, like he was stepping forward, almost like like he was crossed or something like that. You know what I mean? Like his feet weren't crossed, but it was almost like in the southpaw position. It looked like where he was stepping forward. You know what I mean? Like when you're throwing shots and your feet get, you know what I mean? But his jab was there all night. I mean, it really was.
It's almost as if he started the punch out as a jab, but he saw a little bit of an opening where Kavaluskas pulled his hand forward. So then he decided, you know what, I'm going to change the trajectory of this punch, mid-air. And then he kind of turned it into a hook at the last minute because he saw that Kavaluskas usually keeps his hands home. He extended that hand out a little bit, that right hand out a little bit. So then he just kind of looped it around that right hand. So that's just being able to react like that on the turn of a dime, extemporaneously like that. Once again, experience beyond your years,
Yeah. Chandler M said Crawford's a joke. He fights one time every 2 years and thinks he's boxing his gifts. Listen, that's not his fault. I got to be honest. That's not his fault. He was due to fight Manny Pacquiao last year or something like that. That one fell through. He was due to fight Sean Porter earlier this year. That fell through. Now they're going to try to renew that fight. Listen, it's his promoter. It's nobody else. It's his promoter, guys. Nobody else. With Crawford, now that we're talking about Crawford, do you think that he's ready for a guy like Crawford?
He may be ready, but I don't know right now if he would, win the fight.
Yeah.
I think he would be competitive in the fight. If I was, managing him, I would try to get him maybe 2 more fights in and then go for Crawford. Probably get a fight, try to squeeze another fight in by the end of the year, then fight another fight next year. And then by the end of next year, I think he'd be ready for Crawford. Let Crawford
I think
fight.
He needs a couple more fights.
I would give him 2 more fights. I'd give him 2 more fights.
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit more, but he's real close. Like you said, if he fought today, they'd be competitive. Now, whether he'd win or not, that's a different story. That's a different story, man. But that was an impressive win. All right, so let's talk about a not so impressive win. Let's talk about the Showtime card, Beeb. This was beautiful boxing at its best. John Ryo Casimero versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. 91, Beeb. 91 combined landed punches in this one. 91 by both guys, not both guys through 91. Both guys landed 91 combined. That tells you everything you need to know about this fight. It was awful. They broke the punch stat record for least amount of punches landed. That was beautiful. Casimero wins a split decision over Rigo by the scores of 116 to 112, 117, 111, and 115, 113 for Rigo. I had the fight 10-2 in favor of Casimero. I could not give Rigo rounds because he was not punching. He wasn't landing shots. He wasn't throwing shots. He was moving, and defensively, he was masterful. He really was. I said it last night. I said, he may be one of the best defensive fighters that you're likely to see. Really is. Defensive-wise, he makes you miss by a mile. But he doesn't make you pay. He skates around the ring. We had one guy last night trying to fight, one guy not wanting to fight. And that's really the long and short of it. Rigo landed 28 power punches in the fight to Casimero's 41. Rigo landed 44 total punches, 44. Casimero didn't do much better. He landed 47, but at least he was trying to win. I think he landed, 6 jabs or something like that, and he had 41 power shots. It's awful. Rigo, listen, and he made Casimero look bad in spots. But he never really looked great in spots. He never really looked good in spots either. He just looked like he was running all night. And, and I get it. Yeah, it's called boxing. It's the sweet science, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. That's not what he was doing last night. When you make a guy miss defensively, you're supposed to make him miss by that much and stay in positions where you can counter. Rigo was making this guy miss like a mile, but he was in no position to counter. Old Rigo would have countered. This Rigo didn't counter. And everybody was so impressed. Well, wow, he's got a lot of stamina. Great. A lot of people run marathons in their 40s and 50s. It's not a huge deal. A lot of people do it. It's not unheard of. And that's what he was doing last night. None of those shots. And again, you can go count how many he landed, But the bottom line was, look, man, he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight. This wasn't a great defense. I mean, listen, again, he has good defense if you don't want to get hit, but he doesn't have good defense for boxing because he had no counters. He had a couple of left hands. That's it. That's really it, man. Would anybody pay to see Rigo fight again?
No.
He's got to be a complete promoter's nightmare.
No.
Nobody's going to want to see this guy.
It seemed as though he was trying to do as little as possible to try to steal rounds.
Sure.
He got hit with a shot in the first round. I think it was a body shot or also a left hook upstairs. And I think he felt Casimero's power and he said to himself, I'm going to engage this guy as little as possible. And as you said, took himself out of range. There was times we even turned his back and was literally running away, right? Had no intention of even trying to win this fight. He fought this fight trying not to lose. He didn't fight this fight trying to win. And you can definitely see the difference there. And the judges punished him for it. Unfortunately, I scored the fight a draw. You know, I was scoring some of these rounds for Rigo, holding my nose while I was doing it. And I had a feeling that there was at least two of the judges were not going to give him the decision, because there has been a history recently in the sport of boxing where fighters who fight like Rigo, fight like Erislandy Lara, they're not being rewarded by the judges. They're not. So the guys that are going out of their way to not engage, right, who are making opponents miss but not even trying to make them pay, they're getting punished by the judges. So I think you're going to see more and more, as history has shown us. Even when Pacquiao fought Marquez, Pacquiao was the guy moving forward. Marquez was the guy who was taking that step back, trying to get Pacquiao to walk into counters. But, Pacquiao won 3 of those 4 fights, right? Harold Lenneman scored 3 of those 4 fights with Pacquiao. So judges tend to go for the aggressive guy. If it's a close fight where not a lot of punches are being landed, they're going to go with the guy who's at least trying to make the fight. They're going to go with the guy who's coming forward. They're going to go with the guy who is trying to force the action. So I think fighters need to take a look at what they saw last night. Erislandy Lara moving forward, he tends to fight that way as well. And he may have to take a look at that fight last night and say, you know what, I'm going to have to switch things up a little bit, because I'm going to be ending up losing a lot of decisions if I fight remotely like Rigondeaux fought, because there's been instances where kind of Erislandy Lara moved a little bit too much too. And he's been on the short end of the stick in a lot of close fights because of it. Right. So that was a wake-up call. And I'm glad that 2 of the judges did what they did. Right. They made a statement last night that, you know what, we're going to punish you for not fighting. And they did that. They did exactly that.
G Funky had a good comment. He said, to be honest, Casimero gave little effort to cut off the ring, or he just doesn't know how to do it. Now, if you watch, and maybe I'm wrong here, all right, if you watch the first couple of rounds, in the first round, I thought Casimero did a good job. I thought he was cutting off the ring. Okay. I did think he was cutting off the ring. When Rigo would go this way, you could see him cut it off. All right. Now Rigo is fast, and I get that, but he was cutting off the ring. You know when he stopped cutting off that ring is when he got popped with that left hand. When they got in the mix and Rigo popped him with that left hand, flush. I mean, he popped him. That was the end of that. He continued. Then it looked like he was chasing him around. He didn't want to stop him because he knew he was going to get countered. And he knew Rigo wasn't going to offer up anything unless he was cornered. Both guys did a lousy job here. No question about it. But at least one guy was at least trying to push the action. You know what I mean? So I think that's that's kind of where I land on this.
But here's the thing. Rigondeaux wasn't even in a boxing stance anymore. He was throwing a punch, and after he threw a punch, he was literally there were multiple times where he turned his back away from Casimero, and he was literally running away from him. So he wasn't even. You can't cut the ring off somebody who's not even in a fighting stance. He wasn't even in a position to fight. So It's like if someone's coming at you and you're just running away, then there's really no cutting off to do. That you're the other guy's choosing not to even engage you. It's one thing moving. It's one thing moving to create punching angles for yourself, moving to suck someone into a trap. But when you're just running, like when you're not even in punching range. He would land 2 punches and then he would just not even try to do anything else the whole rest of the round. So that's the thing.
I tell you what, man. I tell you what, Rigo does this on such a high level. I mean, Rigo's been boxing forever. You know what I mean? He is he is something else. He really is. If you watch the way he moves, you watch his feet, the guy is great. He really is, or he used to be great. But he's a great defensive fighter. You know what I mean? And you know yourself, like at this level, if you don't want to get knocked out, or if you're not going to put yourself in that position, or you say, hey, I'm not going to get knocked out, he's got the skill to do that. He's not going to engage. And that's what we watched last night. With as far as Casimero goes, yeah, he had a lousy performance too. And Rigo made him look like an amateur in spots. But I mean, the guy was at least trying. The guy was at least trying to fight, So there you go. Chandler M said he lives rent-free in my head. I'm not sure what that means. Don't know what that means. Chandler M, what does that mean? What's the matter with you guys? All right. Gary Antonio Russell versus Emmanuel Rodriguez. Yeah, this fight went about 16 seconds in the first round. An accidental headbutt. Rodriguez went to the ground, could not continue. That was game. So it was a no decision. Stuff like that happens. The one shining spot, Beeb, the one shining spot on the Showtime card last night, which I think saved the ratings, quite honestly. Cincinnati's own Rashid Warren looked impressive with a second-round knockout over Damian Vasquez. Warren really looked good, man. He did. He really looked good. But I'm curious to see what he brings to the next fight. This was a good get-back fight. This is a good tune-up fight. He hadn't fought in a little bit, so I'm wanting to see more. I want to see him step up a little bit, but this was a good fight for him yesterday. It was a good fight for him. So that's what I think, man. And hopefully he's still, he's still in the mix. I mean, he's still in that mix. He could still, and they got a lot of people there right now. There's a lot of people down, a lot of people in this class. So hopefully he gets another shot sometime soon. All right, let's switch over to ESPN. Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney, which, by the way, they counter-programmed this, Beeb. We were talking about this before the show. They counter-programmed this. So you either were watching one or the other, which, I hate when they do that. But the main event, Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. Joshua Franco wins a unanimous decision over Andrew Maloney by the scores of 116, 112 across the board. Beeb, how did Franco look in this?
Well, here's the thing. Maloney has a real tough time fighting on the inside. And that's Franco's wheelhouse, right? Franco was the aggressor. He kept coming forward, and he had a great authoritative hard jab as well. And he was allowed to get inside because Maloney had a hard time getting his jab on track, right? And because of that, Franco was allowed to walk in, right? And he was able to operate on the inside and set up shop on the inside. And Maloney, all he tried to do was hold on the inside. He was very uncomfortable fighting on the inside. And I even thought Jack Reese was tempted to take a point away from Maloney for holding. He was warning him a lot. You got to stop holding, because he was actually reaching out and grabbing. He made no attempt to really try to work on the inside. And, Franco was so fluid, and just his punches were flowing when he was deep in the pocket. Whereas Franco just had no answers for it. He was going to the body, coming back up to the head. He was just fluid, right? And he kept moving, kept moving his head off center line. I just think he fought a beautiful fight on the inside, and Maloney had no answers. You could definitely tell that Franco was the physically stronger guy, and he's just a much, much better inside fighter. He was much stronger. He constantly was pushing Maloney back, and Maloney just looked very, very uncomfortable. And I have to give Franco credit in this fight because he was in phenomenal shape. He fought, steady all the way through. There was no second wind. He didn't need it in this fight. He had a lot of energy throughout the full 12 rounds. And you could tell that he really, really worked hard in training camp, and he made sure that, you know what, I'm not gonna let this guy off the hook in this fight. I'm not gonna allow any controversy to set in here. I'm gonna win this fight decisively. I'm going to take it to this guy. I'm going to get in his chest. I'm going to make it ugly and uncomfortable for him. And I'm just going to touch him as many times as I can. And he's going to feel my shots tonight. And that's what he did. He imposed his will on Maloney, and he really took this fight to him, and Maloney had no answers. No answers.
There you go. All right, before we move any further, guys, hit the like button out there. If you guys are watching this and you're enjoying what you're seeing, go ahead and click the like button and give us some love, man. Come on, let's get those likes up. We got a lot of people watching right now. We got minimum likes. Come on, let's hit the like button. Let's get these likes up, man. Do that for us. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything at all. Just hit the like button. All right, let's talk about Nico Ali Walsh versus Jordan Weeks. Nico Ali Walsh wins via first round TKO over Jordan Weeks. You know, he looked good. Obviously, this is his pro debut, and they wanted him to shine, and he did. You know, he's 21, Beeb, and I don't know a whole lot about him. Did he have an amateur career at all, or is this just something that he picked up at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as though he had an extensive amateur career. I don't know too much about him either. But one thing we do know is he's linked to Muhammad Ali, so that's definitely going to help him out. So people are going to watch him based off of that.
Yeah, you know, I think that was the thing, man. Like, I tell you what, man, I like him. I like that. I like the fact that he won. I thought that was really cool. I wanted him to win. I don't know how far he goes, though. He looked okay, but you can't tell with just a first round KO like that, you know, and especially the guy he was fighting, you know, he was there for, as a sacrificial lamb. So, okay. So Boxer Girl is saying that he was good in the amateurs. Okay. So then, maybe he did have an extensive amateur career. So I'm curious to see a little bit more of him, you know. I mean, this was one of those fights where you're like, all right, well, this kind of introduces us to him. And so I'm real curious to see now, like, what he does, you know. So I'll be definitely watching him. Boxer Girl says he needs work. Yeah, he does. There's no question about that. Definitely does. Tony Boswell, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. You're the man. Trey Lippe Morrison was on the undercard also against Don Hainsworth. Trey Lippe Morrison won a 6-round unanimous decision over Don Hainsworth. Did not get the knockout this time, but definitely got the decision. And we always try to watch Trey Lippe Morrison. So there you go. DAZN. Joshua Buatsi versus Ricards Bolotniks. Buatsi wins via 11th round TKO. What did you see here? Bolotniks was a tough guy, tough, rugged challenger. What did you see here from Buatsi that you liked?
What I did like with Buatsi is, you know, he was poised. He was getting a little tired in the middle of the fight, but Vergil Hunter kind of settled him down, told him, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep touching him with the jab. And he was telling him, you know, to step off to his right a little bit, go to the body, sneak the uppercut up and underneath. So he was giving him good instructions. You know, Buatsi, what I've noticed from him since he's been with Vergil Hunter is he's really developing those short, mid-range to close range punches, right? So when he's deeper in the pocket, he always had that, you know, good jab from the outside, and he can turn that right hand over from the outside. But what I'm seeing is he's really becoming a really good mid-range to inside fighter. I'm seeing a lot of improvement in that area, and he's going to the body a lot more. So he's mixing up the shots. He's becoming more versatile, and he showed that he could carry his power late, which he had to do in this fight because, you know, he was throwing everything but the kitchen sink, and, you know, guy was really taking the shots. He got knocked down, but he kept coming. He kept getting up, and he was throwing back. So a young fighter can get discouraged in those situations, especially since he's been blowing everyone out. I think he hasn't gone past 7 rounds. So this was a test because he had to go past 7 rounds and had to, you know, go to the well here and dig down deep, and he landed a beautiful right hand, and it was a one-punch knockout. And what more can you say? You know, he kind of stepped back. He was inside a little bit, and he had to step back, created a little bit of space, and found that little opening, and boom, turned the right hand right over the top, and it was a picture-perfect right hand. It's a highlight reel. And, you know, I could definitely see that Vergil Hunter is definitely fine-tuned Joshua Buatsi, and I can see that he'll only get better from here. I mean, he really listens to Vergil in the corner. Virgil's really giving him good instructions, and you can see, you know, Vergil Hunter's been criticized a lot. People saying that the only fighter he's really had success with is Andre Ward. But you can see that there's a real good chemistry between Buatsi and Hunter. You can see that these guys are connecting. You can see that Hunter is having an effect on Buatsi. And I think Buatsi has bought into Hunter's training, training philosophy. And I think that, he'll get better from here. I think I would give him maybe 2 or 3 more fights, and then he may be ready for a Bivol, right? But he's got 15 fights. There's no need to rush. Right. Give him maybe 2 or 3 more, at least 2 more fights, possibly 3, and then throw him in there with someone like Bivol, right?
Yeah, I tell you what, Vergil Hunter has been, I've criticized him a number of times because sometimes, like I said, I mean, it may just be, it's a thing of fighter chemistry too. Just because you have a name coach in your corner doesn't mean you're going to work well with that guy. So it's great that he found that Buatsi found him, and they're working well. Because this is great for him.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right, let's go to the phones here real quick. Ringside Robert dialing in 530. You're live.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Well, I want to pick up where you left off there. I think Buatsi and Vergil Hunter, that's a good fit. I'm glad he made the change. And me and Beeb were talking about this yesterday, and we were trying to come up with light heavyweights that he could fight next, considering where they have him in the rankings. And the name that popped into my mind right away was Tommy Carpenter. I think that would be a good fight for him. I think Sullivan Barrera is pretty much retired after what Ramirez did to him in his last fight. So I was trying to think of a light heavyweight that could give him a test, but he could still be successful. And that's the first name that popped into my mind. Can you think of any other light heavyweights that I might be missing that would be good for him?
No, I mean, Carpetsy's a good, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready for
that's the first name.
I don't think he's ready for any of the champions right now.
First name that popped into my mind. Another possibility, but I don't know how well it would work because of promotional issues. Marcus Brown. He hasn't been in the ring in a while.
Yeah.
But again, you have to get
maybe a Badu
you
Jack.
Get into the boxing politics.
Badu Jack is a good one.
That's another possibility. Yeah,
that's
another possibility. But again, you're dealing with Mayweather Promotions, PBC, and I don't know. Well, we'll find out how well Eddie Hearn's going to work because he's advising Canelo, even though he's not contractually signed to him now. So we'll see how well that works. But those are good possibilities. And as far as Vergil Ortiz is concerned, I totally agree with you. He's outstanding. That was a good performance last night. But I don't want to see him with Crawford right now. I want to see him. I want to see him at least 1-2 more fights, and I want to see him go some rounds. Because 8 rounds was good with him, and of course with Maurice Hooker, he got rid of him in 7. I want to see him go some distance. So, but I don't know who you put him in against because I don't think he's ready for Crawford yet. And Crawford's got to get the hell away from Top Rank and go somewhere else where he can get some fights. I totally blame Bob Arum.
What did you think of the Rigo Casimero fight?
one of the most disgusting displays of boxing on both sides I've seen in my lifetime.
Robert, that's terrible.
Now, Casimero, he was doing his best to make a fight out of it, but Rigondeaux had his track shoes on, and I feel bad for Ronnie Shields because Ronnie Shields was giving him the proper instructions in the ring, but it's almost like Rigondeaux totally ignored what Ronnie Shields had to say and didn't even follow any instructions.
No, he sure didn't, did he? He sure didn't.
No.
Yeah.
And if I'm Ronnie Shields, I'd drop him as a fighter. Because I would say, look, you don't follow instructions, you need to get the hell out of my gym.
Wow, that's rough. That is rough, Robert. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of taking it kind of far, don't you think?
No, absolutely not. I mean, he was on national TV last night, and he put on a disgusting display, period.
He did the best he could. And you just want to write this guy off, Robert.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
I mean,
Terrible.
Come on. I picked Casimero to win the fight, and, he did. But I was so worried that judges were going to rip him off last night.
Did you score the fight?
These two. No. When it comes to Rigondeaux fights, I do not score those because he's too difficult for me to score.
That's terrible, Robert. Wow. Just completely took a dump over the guy's career. I hope you're satisfied.
I'm not going to I'm not going to fuck up on any scorecards trying to score this guy's fights. I've got bad enough eyesight. I don't want to screw up my scorecard.
Oh my goodness. Who do you favor? Real quick before we move on here. Who do you favor? Ugas or Pacquiao?
I'm taking Manny Pacquiao to beat Ugas.
Wow. Did you have Pacquiao beating Spence?
No, I had Spence beating Pacquiao, but I favor Pacquiao over Ugas.
There you go. All right, Robert. We're going to get moving here. Stay on the line. You know what Robert does really well, Beeb? You know what Robert does really well? He sends us notes and lets us know different things. So like if we screw up during the show, he'll send us notes. I love that. I love it. He's almost like a producer. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? From Rikers, 508, you're live.
Hey, yo! What's happening, people?
What's up, brother?
4G.
Yo.
What's up?
Congrats, Eric. Congrats. And the new. You are the new.
Yes, that's true. What fight did we bet on?
Congratulations, brother.
What fight?
I'm going to send the pipe bet. The Regal fight, baby. The Regal fight.
That's right. Wow.
You don't need to ask for no video proof of it. I'm a man of my word.
I tell you what, and if you didn't want to take a pie over that, I would be okay with it.
Yeah, with me, I need video proof, man.
I
don't trust any of you motherfuckers.
Listen, before I get into the fight, let me take a shot at Robbie, bro. I haven't fucked with Robbie in a little while. Take a shot at Robbie. What the fuck Robbie talking about? How the fuck, Robbie? How the fuck is Bob Aaron fault? That's beyond my understanding. I cannot comprehend. Let me get this shit straight.
Because he can't make the fights.
Mr. Buck Crawford, let me get this straight. Mr. Buck Crawford with this man pretty much his whole fucking career. Making sure that he not fighting nobody. Making sure he get all these millions of dollars. And he's not in fucking agreement with what Bob says. And Bob is the Buck guy? What? What the fuck is that? Dude, Crawford is responsible. He's on it. He got no qualms, no problem whatsoever to keep fighting all these fucking pedestrians coming out of the streets. Whatsoever.
Bob
Don't
Arum
make no
cannot make a
mistake.
big
Blame
fight with
Bob.
Terrence Crawford. He's even said so himself. He said the fight with Pacquiao fell through, the fight with Porter. He said he wouldn't put it on pay-per-view because he didn't know how much it would do. Listen, he's the issue. Nobody else. Terrence Crawford will fight whoever's in front of him. Bob is not putting those people in front of him. And that's his job.
Yeah, okay. All right. I heard so. It was in Kavaluskas with top rank too?
I don't know if he was or not. Maybe he was. I know they fought, but I don't know if he was with Top
I thought he was with Bob.
Yeah.
And he took out. He got the fuck out of there. Oscar was with Bob. He got the fuck out of there.
Well, I'm sure once his contract expires, he will too.
The fuck is that?
It's not like you could just walk out.
Dude, there's many guys.
You can't just walk out mid-contract, though.
Walk out of there, baby.
You can't do that. He's under contract.
Didn't fucking Michael Garcia lose like 2 years? How long Michael Garcia took off fucking without fighting when he left Bob?
Right, but he was out for 2 years.
Yes, you gotta take a pay cut. You gotta take a pay cut for humanity, for yourself, for your goals, nigga.
This is why he's sitting in Rikers and nowhere else. All right.
Oh,
It
God.
takes that much. I'm sorry that you just cannot fucking take a L, baby. They gotta sacrifice something. They have to sacrifice. Crawford is not willing to sacrifice that money. Simple as that. But yeah, it's Bob fucking fault. Anyways, let's move on. Listen, the whole fucking Guillermo Rigondeaux. This shit is. If you had an even, got the fight even.
I had the fight even, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that
I had it 10-2, son. I had it 10-2 for Casimero.
I was holding my nose scoring rounds, and but you know what? I even said it. I even said it last night. Joe Calix was doing a live fight cast. Did a great job.
Oh man,
and he had a hard time. He was like, you know what? Even though Rigo landed like 2 punches this round, and Casimero landed 0, he goes, I can't give him this round on principle. And the judge
shout out to Calix, man, because that had to be brutal for him last night to comment on that.
I said, don't worry to Calix. I said, don't worry. The judges aren't going to give this to Rigo. And they didn't. So, me and Steve Farhood, we're boxing purists, and we apply the temple mustard.
Steve Farhood.
That's the former editor of Ring Magazine.
Lord.
Back when Ring Magazine was a real publication.
Oh, what about Dougie Fisher?
Shout out to Dougie Fisher, but he's got a crazy boss. He has a crazy boss he got to deal with.
And let me tell you what, I think he's a lot better than Steve Farhood.
Don't put Dougie Fisher on no trouble here. He got to support his family. The man got a job. Don't fuck with Dougie, bro. Don't be asking Dougie Fisher to tell you the truth about Ring Magazine, what it is these days. Listen. But this is what I want to ask you, because you guys live in this fucking universe that I don't understand. There is a consensus in boxing around the world, but this don't apply with you guys, because you guys live on the twilight zone. In a fight like that you cannot shoot shit because nobody's doing anything. How you guys don't see an even round? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't like scoring.
In a fight like that, you guys don't believe on even rounds. No. How on God's name that is not an even round on that fight because nobody's doing shit?
Could have. One guy, but again, one guy's punching, one guy's not. That's how I scored it.
They were both punching. Little punches. Hardly any punches. But they both
baby punches.
What the fuck is a little punch?
I don't know.
It was 90. What'd you say? 91 punches landed.
91 punches combined. Like 91. Rigo threw what? 27 power shots. You're gonna tell me he deserved the fight after he landed 20-some power shots?
I'm not saying that, baby. I can see the defeat. On the premises that Rigo hardly put an effort to win. You cannot goddamn that bicycle and win a fucking world title. I cannot do that. I love you, Rigo, but that was bullshit. But what I'm saying is on this belief that you guys got of not having nobody got an even round. And that's the perfect fucking fight that right there to find at least one round that is even. What is it that don't click on your guys' brain? I'm trying to analyze that.
So what is your point, that we should have scored every round even and had it a draw?
No, at least one round. They have to be. At least one round that you guys say. Like everybody say, I don't know what to choose.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
In the middle round that you don't know what to choose.
So what you're saying is because there were a lot of rounds where neither guy really landed shots, just score the round even then.
At least one other round.
Okay. I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that next fight I score.
It's so hard to score this shit. Has to be an even round.
I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that next fight I score. Try to score an even round.
Yeah, we'll try to score some even rounds for you.
How's that?
Meanwhile, I'm the champ.
No, baby, but it's not.
Meanwhile, the belts on my wall say I'm the champ now. That's right.
But you know what I'm saying, baby? There is a consensus around the world about these even rounds. And your motherfucker, for some unknown reason to humanity, don't accept even rounds. Why?
They do it in England. We don't do it here. Got to be a winner and loser.
They do all over the world. All over the world. No answer, huh? We're just going to keep with the even rounds.
We're just, yep.
Well, I mean, you can't tell people how to score fights. I mean, people are going to score fights the way they want to score them.
Right. That's what we do.
Why are you always going to peer pressure people?
Yeah, why are you always going to bully people?
Why are you going to bully people?
Right.
Because we like this cancel
right. I can do whatever I want to do.
You guys come here talking about there is no such a thing as an even round. Motherfuckers look at you like you motherfuckers come from outer space. And I try to bring some legitimacy to this motherfucking podcast, some type of credibility. And a fight like this is a perfect example to say, you know what? One of these fucking round was even because I couldn't even score to nobody. But that don't click on you guys' brain for some reason.
No.
All right, so whether we scored an even round, whether we scored an even round or not, right? What difference does it make?
Right.
Would it have changed the outcome of the fight?
And it wouldn't have changed it because we were scoring the even rounds, not the judges.
American judges don't score even rounds.
Boy,
They just don't do it.
There is no fight. They are really close. This is the thing. It changed because they like that fight almost one-sided. In my opinion, I think Rigo didn't do nothing. Maybe he won 3 rounds. Who knows? But at the end of the day, the other fights, really important fights, that may go on 1 point. That is that type of fight. That an even round make the difference. If you guys don't recognize an even round, then you got it fucked up.
Nobody scores even rounds here.
It's a lot in the line when you don't recognize a fucking round that is.
Nobody, I'll say it again. Nobody scores even rounds here, son.
All right, we got 58 people watching. Let's get the likes up.
Come on, guys. Let's hit the likes. Let's hit the likes.
They don't give you a like because you guys don't believe in even rounds.
I tell you what, if that's what it takes to get a like, I'm going to score an even round my next fight.
There you go. Yo, and I want a rematch. I demand a rematch because this year I did 3 defenses.
Yeah.
All right,
and you did good up until this point. Now I'm the champ. Now I call the shots.
Georgie,
so I'll tell you when you get a rematch and when you don't get a rematch.
Georgie, who do you like next week?
Yo, you cannot go WBA, WBC Mafia on me.
You can fight for the. Let me tell you what. You can fight for the WBA, the Ringside Reporter gold title. How about that? You fight for the gold title.
But you're going fucking. What is it called? Intergalactic fucking belt now.
Georgia, who do you like next week?
I need my title shot. I'm gonna pick up
who do you like next week, Georgie?
The
Georgie, who do you like next week? Ugas or Pacquiao?
Baby, that's not even a question. You see, Ugas gonna get stopped.
Okay.
Ugas gonna get stopped. I don't think that going Manny goes forward. And Ugas go forward. Because Ugas is not like the traditional Cuban boxer. That nigga goes forward. So what's gonna happen there with Manny getting with those fucking hammers?
That's why we can't get sponsors, Beeb. I tell you what, it's like, you know.
Family show here, please.
They say I
Family
got
show.
it bounced. Come on. I got it bounced. Everybody support the channel. Donate. Shout out to the UK, the USA. I'm out.
All right. Georgie from Rikers. Wow. All right. Before we go to the next item, I see Nacho on the line here, and Beeb and Nacho have a big showdown here in just a second here. All right. So let's see here. What do we got next? Oh, Beeb.
What's
Time.
What we got?
Manscaped, baby. That's what we got.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, guys. So this is really important, man. This really is. So if you guys could just go buy something from Manscaped, use the code Ringside Reporter, you get 20% off. Now, listen, this is very important because I believe you get 20% off anyway, but if you don't put Ringside Reporter in the discount code, we won't see any of it. All right. So if you guys can just help us out. Beeb.
Explain to them why we need them to buy this. We need 8 sales, and then we get a deal with Manscaped.
That's right.
That's
all we need.
We only need 8 sales for Manscaped to be our official sponsor.
That's it.
8
Just
sales.
8. That's it. So guys, every little bit is going to count. So come on, man. We need it. Support for Ringside Reporter is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, the champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, 4.0. 2 million men worldwide trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off free worldwide shipping with the code Ringside Reporter at manscaped.com. Beeb, imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. Try the new Lawnmower 4.0 and be blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship details on the 4.0 are next level. Manscaped engineered the ultimate body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Now you can feel confident shaving below the waist. A new multifunction on-off switch can engage a travel lock created for people who like to travel. Count me in as one of the people who are going to travel when the pandemic is over. The upgraded trimmer also gives you the ability to turn on a 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The Lawnmower 4.0 allows you to customize your trim all over through additional guard links, sizes 1 through 4. Did I mention the wireless charging? The Lawnmower 4.0's new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Take your time, fellas. Manscaped has you covered. Men, let's be honest. If you're still shaving your face and your body with the same trimmer, you're doing it all wrong. Boost your confidence with this new body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time with a smooth shave. 20% off free shipping with the code Ringside Reporter at manscaped.com. Once again, 20% off and free shipping with the code Ringside Reporter at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the code Ringside Reporter and unlock your confidence with the new Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. There you go. So help us out. Help us out, guys.
Outstanding.
We need it. We need it. We need it, guys. All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights before we head back to the phones here. Let's see here. We have, that Paul fight's coming up. Those tickets were expensive for that Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul Woodley fight, man, those were expensive. And so I'm like, let me look and see, where the media is sitting. The media is sitting way back. They sit in the same place where when I went to a fight in Toledo, they sat them way back. They weren't actually ringside.
Yeah.
And I think that was at the Huntington Center or something like that. I don't know. But all right. So next week here, let's see what we got. And that would be, hang on. August 21st, Las Vegas, a Fox pay-per-view card. Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao. 12 rounds for Ugas' WBA super welterweight title. We'll come back to this in a minute. Robert the Ghost Guerrero versus Victor Ortiz in the co-main 10 rounds welterweights. That's a fun fight. Let's be honest. It's not a great fight. It's not a fight that, we're going to call it. It's a fun fight, Also on the undercard, Mark Magsayo versus Julio Ceja, 10 rounds featherweights. And that's it for next week. That's the big one. So, Beeb, before we go back to those phones, let's break this down here, man. Errol Spence pulled out with an injury. Yordenis Ugas steps in. Let's talk about this for a minute. Is this a better fight I think this is a better fight for Pacquiao than Spence. You guys know my feeling on this. I said that Spence, he has no chance of beating Spence. Zero chance of beating Spence. However, I think he has a chance to beat Ugas. I think it's a better fight for him, but Ugas presents some different problems. Beeb, go ahead.
Well, you may argue that Ugas is a better defensive fighter than Spence, maybe quicker on his feet than Spence. But the thing is, he just doesn't throw a lot of punches. He waits. He's not a big puncher either, right? But he's more patient. And because he's more patient and he's going to try to get Pacquiao to come to him, Pacquiao is going to have to really force the action here, because Ugas sometimes will just wait, and he'll shell up a lot. And because of that, it's going to be, Pacquiao's responsibility to try to make the fight, force the fight, and open up Ugas, where Spence was going to come right at Pacquiao. Spence was a guy that wasn't the quickest guy in his feet either. Spence is an aggressive guy, so when you got a guy who's aggressive, he's going to take more chances, which is going to create more openings for Pacquiao. I felt as though Pacquiao was going to beat Spence, and I think he's going to beat Ugas, but he's going to have to do it in a different way. He's going to have to throw a lot of punches. He's going to have to create the opening, so he's going to have to probe, stick that jab out there and force Ugas to kind of knock it down. And as Ugas knocks that jab down, you'll have that little opening up the middle for the left hand. So this is going to be, Pacquiao trying to get Ugas to come out of his shell, so to speak, right? And I think he can do that. So I think because Ugas doesn't throw a lot of punches and because he's not a heavy hitter, I think Pacquiao will win rounds off of activity. Even if he's not landing cleanly all the time, he's going to be the busier fighter. He's going to be the guy coming forward. So the only thing is Pacquiao can't get frustrated if Ugas isn't doing anything. He can't get upset. He can't get reckless because Ugas is not really offering up any offense. So if Pacquiao becomes impatient and becomes a little reckless and, gets complacent in there, then he can make a mistake and Ugas can sneak something in. But I just don't see that happening. I think Pacquiao is a pro. I think, this may end up turning out to be like his fight with Joshua Clottey. It was very uneventful, but, Pacquiao was able to throw a lot of punches. A lot of them didn't land, because Clottey was a guy who shelled up as well too. But at the end of the day, I just see Pacquiao outworking Ugas. And I think that his volume is going to sway the judges to give him rounds, and I think he'll win a 12-round unanimous decision. I think the best bet here is to bet Pacquiao by decision at a plus 150. I think it's a no-brainer. Ugas is in great shape. He's a pretty sturdy guy. I just think Pacquiao is going to outwork him.
I think that Ugas is going to win this fight. I think Ugas is going to win it via unanimous decision, much like you. On the other hand, I don't think there's any knockdowns. I don't think there's any knockouts. I don't think there's anything like that. I think that when was the last time Pacquiao fought? It was Keith Thurman. Was that 2 years ago?
Yes.
And what is he, 43 now?
42.
42?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, and with all his duties and everything like that, it's a tough out. Keith Thurman, when he fought Keith Thurman, Keith Thurman's all over the place. You don't know where he is mentally, and Keith Thurman put up a fight in there. I mean, Keith Thurman landed a lot of right hands on Pacquiao. So much so that during the middle of the fight, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I don't want to see him take too many of these, because he was taking them one after another. I think that Pacquiao has a better chance of beating Ugas. I don't think it's as if he beats Ugas, it's definitely an accomplishment, not like it would be beating Spence. But listen, man, it's just, to me, it's a hard sell for a guy who's been off 2 years. He's 42. He's got so much on his plate, and to focus and beat a guy again on a week's notice. This is basically, on a week's notice. No?
2 weeks.
2 weeks notice. That's still difficult. It's a difficult thing.
Yes. Ugas got 2 weeks notice too, though. So
he did. But Ugas has been much busier than Pacquiao. And I always favor the guy who's been busier versus the guy who hasn't been busy.
He's been more active.
So, I don't think that, like I said, man, I'm picking Ugas in this fight. I'm picking Ugas by decision. And, we'll see what happens, man. A lot of people think I hate Manny Pacquiao because I never pick him. But listen, man, the simple fact is I like Manny Pacquiao a lot. I don't want to see him get hurt. That's not, and that has, that stuff happens, like I said, man, when with Chavez and Kostya, I didn't want to see that fight either, so we'll see what he has left, man. We'll see what he has left. And hopefully both of them make it out of it unscathed. So as far as the pay-per-view price, Robert just texted me and asked me the pay-per-view price. I think it's $80. I think it's still $80.
Is it 80 or 7? Is it 80 or 75? I thought it was 75.
It could be 75.
Yeah,
but it's around there. It's 75 or 80.
Not that that's much better, but
yeah. Centurion said I better give Manny props. I will. I did after the Keith Thurman fight. I will. Absolutely. And I'll give him props whether he wins or loses. That's the thing, man. I'll give him props whether he wins or loses. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about the news and rumors real quick. Errol Spence had a torn retina and had to pull out of the fight. This is odd, man, because he didn't even know. From what I'm gathering, this happened at a pre-fight physical. He didn't even know he had a torn retina. So, you know how dangerous this could have been? This was something else, man.
Yeah.
So in a statement by Spence, Spence said, "I'm very disappointed that I won't be able to fight Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao." He said, "I was excited about the fight. Unfortunately, the doctors found a tear in my left eye and said I needed surgery on it ASAP, and that there was no way I could fight with my eye in that condition." Listen, what do he's got to get it fixed. Can't go in there and fight. That's a dangerous situation, man. You don't want to, you don't want to chance that at all. Beeb, what was so Spence pulls out of this fight a couple weeks beforehand, finds out he has a detached retina, has surgery for it, by the way. I saw this, his pictures, his eyes covered up and everything. And people, as boxing Twitter often does, says that Spence is faking it. So the conspiracy theory out there is that Spence wasn't having a good camp or anything like that. So let me understand this, because there's got to be a payoff when it comes to conspiracy theories. So Spence was having a bad camp. So rather than fight Manny Pacquiao and get the money for Pacquiao, the pay-per-view money, the biggest fight of his career and everything else like that, he pulls out and he doesn't know whether he'll get another shot at Pacquiao or not. So he pulls out, Ugas takes over, and that's just okay with Spence because he just wasn't ready. Are you guys crazy? Where do all these conspiracy theories come from, Beeb?
Well, boxing is divided right now, and we have factions. So now, all the people that were being criticized for saying Fury's COVID was legit, right? You have that. You have the anti-Fury people. So you have the PBC versus the world, basically, right? The PBC, they hate Top Rank and they hate the Zone, right? So they're going to hate Joshua. They're going to hate Crawford. They're going to hate Fury. So this is just basically, we live in like what's called revenge culture. So all the people that were talking shit about Fury, they're going to have to get it back now because now Spence has pulled out of a fight. So this is just revenge for what they said about Fury.
So silly.
And it's just ridiculous because, either everyone's telling the truth or everyone's lying. You got to make up your mind, right? I said it before and I'll say it again. Oh, why are these fights getting canceled so close to the fight with 2 weeks out. Go back and look at a tweet Micaiah Mayer tweeted out, and she said that we get our medicals done 2 weeks out before the fight. So obviously, when the tests are going to come back within 2 weeks of the fight, that's why the results are coming back so close to the fight. Why do they do that? I asked Aaron, why do they do that? So let me just say this. If you had a torn retina, right? Say you got your pre-fight physical 4 weeks out or 6 weeks out, and the torn retina didn't show up in that physical, but then for whatever reason, you injure your eye and it becomes torn after that. So if you don't get that physical closer to the fight, then you're going to miss that. So you're going to go into the fight with a torn retina, right? And what people don't understand is that tear could have been very small. He probably could have fought with it and have been able and would have been able to see out of the eye. But the problem is what happens is the retina is attached to the back of the eye, and it has what's called vitreous gel that is on the back of the eye, and it attaches to the retina. So when there's a tear in the retina, the vitreous gel goes inside that tear, and it builds up, and it could force that retina to detach from the back of the eye. And when that happens, forget about it. That's a problem. That's what Ray Leonard had. He had a detached retina. So if you have a torn retina, right? Even if you're not fighting, you got to get that addressed ASAP, because you don't want that vitreous gel to get in the back of that eye and push the retina off the back of the eye and tear it from the back of the eyeball, right? So you're thinking this guy's going to get hit in that eye, even if the tear is very small, it could easily be detached if he got hit in that eye multiple times. And then he basically going to start seeing spots when he's fighting, right? He's going to have all those floaters floating in his eye. He's going to see like two to six Manny Pacquiaos out there. So, how did he not know he had a torn retina? Anyone can not know they have a torn retina, depending upon how bad the tear is. Unless Ray Leonard tore his retina in training before the Tommy Hearns fight and actually detached it in that fight. So back then, when they weren't as strict with the medicals and you weren't required to get the eye exam, as part of the pre-fight medicals, right? He had that torn retina and went into the fight with a torn retina and ended up getting a detached retina, right? So he had a compromised eye for months before that Hearns fight. But he just kept going on with it because he didn't think it was that bad. But then after that Hearns fight, he said, my eye's jacked up. I got to get it looked at. Ernie Schaefer, same thing. His retina was detached really bad. So a torn retina is serious because it could lead to, worse things, right? But you're not going to have the symptoms that you would with a detached retina. So how did he not know? Because it's very easy that he did not know, because he didn't have any symptoms. He wasn't having the floaters, wasn't having the flashes in his eye, right? Wasn't seeing the dark curtain, wasn't seeing the lack of peripheral vision. Those are the things you see when your retina is detached. So he had a little small tear on the bottom of the eye, right? He didn't know he had it. But again, no ophthalmologist is gonna okay him fighting if they see that. You get your eyes diluted every year, I'm assuming, right? Did they take the pictures of the eye to see if there's any damage to your eye, or see if anything's going on? Any issues with the blood vessels or anything in your eye, right?
Right.
Macular degeneration, torn retina, whatever, right? No ophthalmologist or optometrist, once again, is going to sign off on this guy and give him a clean bill of health, because the records have to get turned into the commission. There's a paper trail. It's different. It's not like saying I'm depressed, I can't fight. That's Q&A. There's no physiological test that can really detect if you're depressed or not. People have to take your word for it, right? You go in there, you say your wrist is sprained. They grab your wrist, they move it around a little bit. You go, whatever. They're not going to give you an x-ray. They may give you an x-ray, and then they could just say you have ligament damage, right? Whatever. You can get out. There's so many ways to get out of a fight. Why would you go to such extravagant extremes and use such crazy excuses, such extreme excuses to get out of a fight, when there's easier ways to get out of a fight?
And what's the payoff for Spence? He just loses the biggest payday of his career.
Not only that, what's the payoff for the doctor who's going to falsify the medical records, which is a felony, and he can get fucking anywhere from 5 to 10 years in prison, lose his medical license, and pay a fucking $250,000 fine and his life is ruined for the rest of his life. What's the payoff? The guy, ophthalmologists make fucking anywhere from $250,000 a year to $300,000 a year, whatever, right? They're going to risk that. Like,
Right.
What is going to make them falsify the documents? So just to do Spence a solid.
Yeah, you guys need to wake up.
And why would Spence want out of this fight? Even he had a bad camp in the Danny Garcia fight. He still fought.
Yeah. And I guarantee if they let Spence fight, he probably would have fought. You know, I mean, it's one of those things, man. Yeah, he would have fought.
He went to 3 doctors. He got 3 opinions. And then you got Bernard Hopkins out there talking shit. And where's his X-rays and MRIs from all the injuries that he supposedly had when he was jumping out of rings and shit and fucking doing WWF moves on Chad Dawson and rolling around on the canvas? Where's his friggin'? He wants to see an X-ray or an MRI. Where's your X-ray or MRI for your shoulder, for your ankle, for your knee? Come on, bro.
Yeah, and it doesn't help things, you know, and like, they don't help each other when they do stuff like this, especially former boxers. Like, come on, man, really?
For Hopkins to come out and say that is a disgrace, bro.
It really is.
I lost a lot of respect for Hopkins by doing that.
Yeah,
by saying that. And it runs deep because Hopkins is with Golden Boy now, and they're salty because Al Heyman took all their fighters away from them, and they lost a lot of money because of that. But that was their own fault, right? They weren't handling business. So,
yep, there it is. All right, let's go back to the phones. 805, you're live.
What's up, guys?
Wake up, kid. What's going on?
What in the world? Yeah, right?
Come on.
These long pauses.
Already.
Stop with this Unisom you've been taking before the show, please.
All right.
Beeb, come on.
All right.
Really?
Well, are you ready, Beeb?
Well, I'd be more comfortable if he was on camera because I know he's Googling.
Wow.
I know he's Googling.
Oh, here we go again.
But guess what?
Here we go again with the cheating. Come on.
But guess what? I'm gonna still take
Man.
it. I'm like Tupac. It's me against the world.
Did you just compare yourself to Tupac?
Not necessarily. Not directly, indirectly.
What's the matter with you?
There's only one.
Oh,
Tupac.
my goodness.
I can never be Tupac.
All right. You guys have 10 seconds. 10 seconds to answer the questions. I'm going to give you guys 3 questions. You have 10 seconds to answer the questions. We're going to do them one at a time. The first person to give me the right answer gets the point. Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
As long as you're not texting him the answers.
I'm texting Nacho the answers. All right. Very first question. What year did boxing become an Olympic sport?
$1948.
Nacho, do you have an answer? Nacho goes south. Nacho, your answer will not count. Beeb, what did you say?
1948.
Beeb, you do not get a point. The first year when boxing became an Olympic sport, 1904. 1904.
What the fuck kind of question is
Shit, I didn't know that.
Who's going to answer that one right?
Well, I'm just saying.
Come on, get better questions.
All right, we'll do our best here. We're doing our best here, babe. You know, our budget isn't what it was. All right, you have 10 seconds to answer the next question. Who was the shortest heavyweight champion?
Sam Langford.
Nacho, do you have an answer? Nacho, are you alive? Jesus.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Mike Tyson.
I believe Mike Tyson was 5'10". How tall was Sam Langford, Beeb?
I think he was 5'9".
5'9". The shortest heavyweight champion, Tommy Burns. checking in at 5'7".
Jesus.
Jeez.
Last question. And this is for all the marbles. There are multiple right answers for the last question. Multiple, which means more than one. All right. There are multiple right answers for the last question.
All right, spit it out.
If you can give me more than one, that improves your chances of winning. Nacho has failed to give an answer on the first two questions. Nacho, this is your last chance. Beeb, are you ready?
Yes.
Nacho,
Yeah.
are you ready?
He said, yeah,
Yeah.
already. Jesus Christ. You're like molasses going downhill. Fuck is wrong with this guy?
You just relax. You're so keyed up, Beeb. That's why you're not answering the questions correctly. Clear your brain. In with the good air. Exhale the bad. Here we go. There we go. Which fighter won the most gold medals in boxing?
Vasyl Lomachenko.
Teofimo Stevenson.
Clarissa Shields.
Time is up.
Oh.
Time is up. Beeb, you said Clarissa Shields. That is incorrect. Beeb, you also said who? Vasyl Lomachenko. Beeb, that is incorrect. Beeb gave two answers.
Felix
They were
Savon.
both incorrect.
Felix Savon. Felix Savon.
Nacho, you gave one answer. What did you say?
Teofimo Stevenson.
Teofilo Stevenson from Cuba won 3 gold medals, which is the most in Olympic boxing history, followed by Felix Savon of Cuba, who won 3, which is the most Olympic medals in boxing history, followed by Laszlo Papp from Hungary, who won 3, which is the most in boxing history. Nacho, congratulations. You have beat the Beeb twice now. Don't fall over yourself with excitement, Nacho.
No. I'm glad I won.
Nacho is speechless.
Now Beeb can
Typical.
stop saying that the first one was a fluke.
Wow. Beeb he's calling you out, Beeb.
Well, I answered right too. I said
He did.
I said
After
Felix,
the buzzer.
I said
After the
Felix
buzzer.
Savon. I said
But you
Felix
did. I will
Savon.
give it to you. I will give it to you after the buzzer, though. It's after the buzzer, so it doesn't count.
See, like Nacho got 6 chances. I only got 1. Again, this is
He gets 6 chances.
he got
How
6
did I
chances. I only got 1.
Beeb,
I
all I
answered-
said was one answer.
And then I
You
wanted
wanted to multiple answers.
he said there was multiple. We could answer multiple
I'm
times,
sure you
right?
said the
Yes.
same thing as
It allows
Rick.
you to answer 6
He's got
times, but I can only
multiple
answer
answers.
twice. I
I
got it
believe
right.
he only
now.
answered once. I
Oh
believe he
my
only answered
God.
once.
I got it right too.
Beeb,
I said Felix
good
Savon.
Lord.
I said Felix Savon.
Talk about being a sore loser. My God.
Can you imagine, Beeb, let me ask you a
Marvin
question.
Hagler is rolling over in his grave right now, Beeb.
Wow.
That's defamation.
Wow. That's defamation.
That's defamation.
Could you imagine Nacho as a contestant on The Price is Right? You know how when they call out your name and they just jump around like, oh my God, I'm gonna finally win, and they run right down. Can you imagine to call Nacho's name? Nacho just quietly stands up and walks to the podium.
I have a complaint. I have a complaint about this whole thing.
Yes.
The way
Beeb,
you
your complaint will be heard.
the way you were asking the questions, and I'm going to file
Sure.
an appeal on this.
Absolutely.
You were asking these questions so slow.
Yes.
You were lulling me to sleep, and you were like throwing me off
True.
with the delivery of your questions.
Sure.
If you were more direct with your questions, I would have
Yes.
answered them a little bit more concise and a little bit more coherently.
Well, the
I
complaint
knew-
has been heard,
I knew the
Beeb.
answer. I knew the answer was Felix Savon, and I got it right. But
Sure.
because you stalled me out,
Yes.
you made my brain kind of fog out a little bit. You were lulling me to sleep a little bit. You were
Yeah.
like, you had almost like a Quaalude type effect on my brain the way you were, asking these questions, and I couldn't deliver the answers quick enough. So
You're saying that my soft voice, you like it and it puts you to sleep, puts you in a relaxing mood? Is that what you're saying?
The way you were
Sounds like
dragging
that's
out
what
the
you're saying.
questions, the way you were dragging out the questions is just horrible, man.
It sounds like that's what
It
you were
was
saying.
Nacho,
Okay, your
good
complaint has
Nacho,
been
good-
heard and has been denied.
Nacho, good victory. Another setup for you.
Thank you, Beeb.
Another backhanded compliment.
You lost.
That was good. That was a good answer. I'm so mad. I'm so mad because I knew the answer. But I fucked it up. Just like remember last time when I answered the question late after I answered the question wrong, but then right afterwards I answered it right, and then you wouldn't allow my right answer because you wanted me to lose so badly.
Yes, I remember that. Beeb, you are never a failure till you blame someone else. Think about that one. That's right.
Good one, Nacho. Good victory.
Nacho is a champ.
Thank you.
He is the regular champ. I, of course, am the franchise champ.
Come on. I got to be the super champ now.
I can't believe this guy.
Eric.
I can't believe he beat me twice. I can't believe he beat me twice.
He not only beat you twice, Beeb, he smashed you twice.
No, he won by the skin of his ass both times. Cut it out.
Man, it was bad too.
I was
embarrassed.
I was
embarrassed watching you on the
split decision.
It was
awful.
awful.
A split decision both times. Stop.
Oh, it was terrible, Beeb.
Good victory, Nacho. Good victory, Nacho.
Eric,
awful.
He's over here accusing me of cheating, and yet I am the one who barely won. Come on, what the hell? Jeez, Beeb, quit being so salty. My God.
Yeah, Beeb.
Good job, Nacho. Good
Went
job,
down in
Nacho.
flames, buddy.
Good job, Nacho.
Awful.
How did I fucking miss that last question? Fuck, I'm so mad at myself. I got to get another 7-Up.
Beeb is not going to give any interviews after that loss. I can't blame him after being starched like that. Nacho, what do you have to say today?
Nothing. I just proved once again that I beat Beeb despite his cheating allegations, telling me that you're texting me the answers and everything, but I still came out on top.
Putting the poor
I'm
mouth
happy
on
with
the
my
Beeb.
victory.
Eric, send him a Manscaped shirt because of that now.
Some Manscaped shirt. That's right. Nacho. Now,
Yeah.
you're doing the Manscaped thing, right?
He won't do it.
He won't. He will.
Yeah, I actually bought one of those machines a while back myself.
What good does that do us now, Nacho? A while back.
Well, because he can, when he repurchases things like the wipes and the travel bag and stuff like that, he can, he's going to put in Ringside Reporter. Right, Nacho?
It's a good point.
Of course.
See?
Yeah.
It's our guy. It's caller of the year, Beeb. And you dump on him every chance you get.
I fucking lost again. How do I can't believe this. 2 fucking losses in a row to this kid. Oh my God. I can't fucking swallow this. I can't swallow this. I'm the Beeb. I'm not supposed to lose at anything. I don't even lose at fucking Candyland. I don't lose in Go Fish. I don't lose at anything.
You're not good. You stink. I don't mean that in a bad way. A lot of people, are in your position. Just go on with the show. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Getting fucking aggravated. All right, Nacho, we're going to get running, my man. Good win today. Nacho, the new champ, again, defends his title against the Beeb.
Good win, Nacho. Good win.
Don't. He's gone now. It's okay. Cameras are off now.
You know what I hated? He waited for me to answer, and then he stalled it out. Because he knew that my 2 answers weren't right. And then he answered after
How did he know that, though? How did he know your answers weren't right?
It was a setup, man. It was a setup. You're always fucking setting me up. It's a fucking setup. I know. I know you text him the answer.
I texted 919. You're live. If he would have got Laszlo Pap, I would have been suspicious. All right.
No, that was a good win on him. I have to. I was a little. See, you know what happens with me? I get too anxious because you lull me to sleep with how you answer. You ask the question, so you actually do get me anxious. I'm not going to lie to you. You get me anxious, and then I make you nervous.
Bieber, are you saying I make you nervous?
You rattle me a little bit. Then I blurt my answer out. Like I just try to answer too quickly, and I don't think thoroughly. I feel like Wilder right now. I'm making up so many excuses. I'm going to shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
egg weights in his glove. Yeah, egg weights on the phone.
Yeah.
919, you're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
What's up, brother?
Hello? Hey, I'm doing good, man. Hey, look, I wanted to talk about the Rigondeaux fight last night and the Ortiz fight.
Yeah. Who are we talking to?
Rigondeaux, man. Huh?
Who are we talking to?
Look, I just got to say this. I felt like people have been being too hard on him because he have had stinkers like this fight and other fights, but he also looked good in fights. Mm-hmm. But, man, last night, I think that he overestimated my man from the Philippines, Casimero. I think he overestimated. Had Rigondeaux just stayed in the pocket and counted, I think he could have stopped this guy. I don't understand. I don't know. I mean, it couldn't be the age that he was worried about because he ran around the ring like the 100 meters for 12 rounds. So he was definitely in shape. And I think he just overestimated, like it was going to be so much heat coming his way. And he psyched himself out, man. Period.
I don't know about that. I mean, what did you think about Rigo's, lack of punches, lack of power punches? I mean, I think he only landed like 26.
Because he didn't want to stand in the pocket because he felt like that this guy was going to be too strong for him or that he might have problems, heading down the stretch in the fight. But I feel like had he just held his ground and fought this guy, I feel like Rigo's skills, he would have won this fight. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from the Filipino fighter. He's good. But I feel like Rigo, he just... sometimes guys get in this thing of moving and they don't know how to stand their ground at some point. They just get in the groove of moving and making him miss, but not making him pay. And he just got in that zone and he lost the fight himself. Like no one can get upset that they didn't give him the decision because he did not throw enough punches, number one. And number two, the punches that he did land, he didn't have a chance to really sit down on the punch because he was throwing and he was on the run.
It's a great point. And you know what? He makes a really good point. BP makes a really good point by saying that, had Rigo stayed in that pocket, Rigo caught him with a couple of flush left hands early. And that's what, that's when the ring stopped getting cut off and everything like that. Yeah. If Rigo was willing to take some power to stand in that pocket, who knows what would have happened. But he really did a disservice to himself.
I think he would have won the title last night.
Yeah. I mean, he really did a disservice to himself by fighting the way he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the Ortiz fight, the one thing that bothers me about Ortiz is moving forward against better guys is that he drops his hand and he goes backwards. And had the Mean Machine had just a little more oomph on that left hook that he caught him with, we would have been having a whole different conversation today. It would have been about, can he recover from a second round knockout loss and this and that. And I don't see at the welterweight division, unless you got Tito Trinidad type power, I can't see any fighter, going through that type of arsenal from other fighters lasting long in the welterweight division without getting beat. Just my opinion on that. I can't see it. I just can't see it. I mean, and Mean Machine is a good fighter, and I'm not going to take nothing away from him, but I don't consider him a top 5 or even a top 10 guy, but he is a good, litmus test for anybody. But at the same time, I would be cautious with putting Ortiz in the ring with A, a good counterpuncher, or B, a guy that's a tremendous puncher. So they got to be careful with making him.
There you go. Very good points. Very good points. All right, my man, we're going to get running. Thank you so much for the call. Don't be a stranger, man. Call back.
Take it easy, my man.
All right, man. You too.
Yeah, man. No doubt.
All right.
All right.
515, you're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chandler M.
Chandler M.
Oh,
Chandler,
Jesus.
you and I, let me tell you what's something. You and I cannot make any more pie bets, at least for the foreseeable future anyway, because every time we make a bet, the Teofimo fight,
you would have to invest in Buck Baker.
You, my man, are cursing these fights. I don't, clearly it's not me. I'm the champ. All right. But something in your DNA curses these fights. Pacquiao, Teofimo. I mean, Chandler, the proof's in the pudding. You are the bad luck guy.
I don't know. It could be both ends because you keep
I don't think
accepting
so. I don't think it's me at all. Clearly, it's not me.
No, but I called in because I think I have a good point. You know,
Nobody else
with the
thinks so.
Pacquiao Spence fight. Oh, shut up. With the Pacquiao Spence fight getting canceled, you know, I think it looks like a really smart move on Canelo's end for trying to get that guaranteed 40 mil out of Plant. Now, was 40 million a little much? Yeah, but I could see him coming in saying, you know, 30 million because if somebody backs out last minute, he's switching platforms, it's saving his ass. And you get to do that when you're the A side. So all these people that were bashing him a couple weeks ago, they look pretty stupid right now.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah. I think that you think that fight comes off. Beeb, do you think that fight comes off?
What, Canelo Plant?
Yeah.
Oh, it's done for November. It'll be announced pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done. That
fight's
done.
It'll be announced this week.
All right, good.
That fight's done. So shout out to Canelo for holding his ground.
I think 5 rounds he's going to knock Caleb Plant out.
You think so?
You know, it's funny when people when they talk about Canelo.
Yeah, I don't think
when they talk about Canelo, you know, every person he faces is they got the key to victory, and guess what? None of them do. There's nothing special about Caleb Plant. He's not a better boxer than Billy Joe was. Everybody said Callum Smith was the best in the division. Guess what? He got wrecked. I don't think Benavidez is a competitive fight. I honestly don't. I think it goes 7 rounds, and then the experience kicks in. You know, if Benavidez had maybe 10 more years experience, it's going to be a hell of a fight, but by then, Canelo's going to be retired. So right now, I don't see anybody. I don't even see anybody in the light heavyweight division beating him.
I agree.
I'll tell you what, man, and Chandler brings up a good point. He said that Callum Smith was considered the best. I consider him the best in that division, period. Yeah.
You were
the top guy.
You were shocked at the result of that fight.
He got wrecked.
You thought
that fight wasn't even close. I thought that fight was going to be competitive. It was not at any point in that fight.
You were shocked about that. I remember.
I was. I couldn't have been more shocked. I mean, listen, I wasn't shocked that Canelo won. I was shocked the way he won.
They think it's the answer.
What's that?
You know, and you know, Caleb Plant, he is a C-level fighter who looks good against D-level fighters.
No,
I mean, you cannot name one person he fought that is a real threat.
Yeah,
he went 12 rounds with Caleb Truax, and he didn't look good in it.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know. I calling him a C-level fighter, I think, is a little strong. I think it's, you know, I think he's a really good boxer. I don't think he's had the opportunity to prove it against upper-level opposition. He hasn't been in there with upper-level opposition. You know, so, you know, but this is a big step up for him, no question. I think he does well. I mean, I think he's competitive at times. I can't see him beating Canelo, though.
But he gasses after 5 rounds. Watch all of his fights, and he is dead tired after the 5th round.
Beeb, how do you think he gets wrecked after 5 rounds?
I think
I said he gets stopped. I said he gets stopped in 7. 6 or 7. I'm going to say 7th round stoppage. Yeah. But Chandler M could be right. He may stop him quicker than that. Here's the problem. Billy Joe has
injured, bro.
Listen to this, Chandler M, and tell me if you agree with this. Billy Joe has a good set of legs on him, good set of wheels. Caleb Plant doesn't move that much. He'll stand right there. He'll stand right there, try to catch and shoot, slip and shoot. And if he stands stationary for too long, he's going to get his body torn apart. Canelo's going to rip him apart to the body. So one thing Billy Joe had was the footwork.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. I think Billy Joe is a better fighter than Caleb Plant.
No.
I really do. I don't even think it's with all due respect, I don't even think it's really that close.
No.
Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders were the two I was really surprised at because he outboxed Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, beat him at his game.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Saunders had zero answers for what Canelo brought to that table.
I felt comfortable he was going to beat Billy Joe Saunders. But I thought I did think the Caleb Smith fight would be a tad bit more competitive.
Yeah. Especially how big Smith was.
Canelo's gotten to that point like Floyd Mayweather was, where no matter who he's fighting, they got the answer. They're the one, and guess what? None of them are.
Yeah.
He's at the top of the game, so all these haters come out of the woodworks and try and make excuses. And at some point, you just got to eat some humble pie and be like, you know what? He's at the pinnacle of the sport.
Yeah, no question. He's the best fighter on the planet
right now. There's not a better boxer in the game with better defense. Arguably, maybe some of the most weapons offensively. The way he's able to slip, and counter, because he's really a counter puncher. He just got knockout power.
Yeah, that's
so.
True.
I don't know. That's even if Plant makes it to the fight. He's injury prone. So I don't blame Canelo one bit for wanting some guaranteed money switching over platforms for Al Heyman to pull some shit and throw in somebody else.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, Chandler, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much. He brought up a couple good points, man. And I tell you what, Canelo getting that, like I said, that guarantee, he's right. Because especially with, I'm not really worried about Caleb getting hurt before the fight. I'm worried about COVID. I'm worried about somebody in his camp getting it and then he gets it or anything, something along those lines.
Yeah, now they got the variant and shit too, so it's fucking
crazy. Did you hear they got the Lambda variant in Peru now? That's the next variant coming out.
Oh God,
it's called the Lambda, and it's already in Peru and stuff like that. So it's probably already here. So
now they're telling us we should get a third vaccination shot too. You hear that one?
Yeah, but you know what? I heard the booster was only for whatchamacallit, like people at risk, like high risk. If you're sick or if you're elderly or if you're sick or you have pre-existing or anything like that. If you're,
yeah.
So. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Numbers are ramping up again, man. They might shut boxing down again, man. What are you going to do?
No one in your family no one in your immediate family got it, huh?
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. No.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Knock on wood, man. So hopefully we stay like that and hopefully we stay COVID free,
Awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Pay-per-view is next week. Don't forget, go to Manscaped, buy some stuff. All right. Put Ringside Reporter in there. And that is it for That's it for this week, guys, man. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at Ringside73, and we will see you guys next week.